The prepared portfolio includes a life story. The life story is significant because it provides the parole commission with the understanding of who you are. And that includes who you were before you committed your crime, the crime itself, who you are now, and who are you going to be in the future. This can be difficult for some people because they forget the audience that they're talking with. You're addressing the parole commission, not a court, not a friend, not case management. The parole commission needs to understand who you are to make an objective decision, because the only information they have available about you is the statement of facts in your crime. So what you do with this story can determine how well you'll make out at this particular parole hearing. Now, we want to keep the life story simple. No more than 2 pages, 3 pages, because the parole commission has a wide caseload and they don't have a lot of time to read all of these materials. So the first thing you want to talk about is the crime itself. You want to talk about those things that influence you to make a decision to commit the crime. That could be abuse, be poverty, single parent household, being bullied as a kid. You want to touch on those things that contributed to you or the underlying factors or mitigating circumstance which led to the event that you're being judged for or that they're considering. Once you cover those things, then you want to talk about the crime. You don't want to act like you're an innocent victim in this case because you're not. So when you talk about the crime, put it in real terms. Explain what you did. And it's a good thing to refer to the victim of the crime, if it's a victim crime, by name. A problem that many people have is that they become so detached, and that comes across during your presentation with the parole commission. So you want to readily accept, this is what I did to another human being. Whether his name is John Smith, Mary Carter, those things help because it shows remorse. It shows that you're concerned. It shows you understand the impact of your behavior upon somebody else. So this is something you definitely want to include. Also, after you establish the crime, you have to look towards what you have done to address the underlying issues that caused the crime. This is very important too, because now you said, this is what I did and this is why I did it. Now they're concerned about what you have done to change or address those issues. Now you have to call upon those things that you experienced that helped you out. Whether it's a mentor, somebody in the prison facility that helped you specifically with a specific thing, you can use that as a reference. You can use going to college. You can use seeing a psychologist. You can use watching somebody else's experience, because the only way to learn is not through your own experience. Whatever these issues that help you grow and evolve into who you are today and a person not like you to offend, that's what you want to address. Going back, keep in mind the audience. There are certain things that will work in your favor. If you were under the age of 18, you should mention that you were a juvenile offender. That carries weight. If you were under the age of 24 or 25, you should have mentioned that you were a youthful offender or an emerging adult. If you're over the age of 65, you should mention that because the parole commission is more compassionate in those particular cases. If you had any prior juvenile experience or juvenile crimes, you should mention those things as well. But keep in mind that you're talking to give them an understanding of who you are so you can progress out of this particular system. Again, you want to keep it short, you want to keep it simple, and you want to keep it practical. And you have to be consistent. I mentioned that the parole commission has a statement of facts in your crime. You can't grandiose this thing. You can't make it bigger or minimize what you've done. So the best thing you can do is be straightforward and be honest, because that's what they're looking for. And that's where you should be at this point, because you want release. If you can't be honest, you can't be straightforward, then this might not be your time to be considered for release. At the end of this life story, You want to go back and review it. You want to make sure you touched on all the major points to give them a clear, concise understanding of who you are, what you did, what you've done to redress those issues, what you accomplished during the prison system, and what's going to help you be the person that you want to be upon release. These are very significant factors, and you should take your time to do this. And I know sometimes we have writer's block because we're not used. I know sometimes we have writer's block because we're not used to talking about ourselves in this way. But this is vital because this story has to come from you. An advocate cannot write this. They can help you edit it, but they don't know you as you know yourself. And this is what you want to convey to the Parole Commission.